Hello and welcome to Study Abroad in School Experience. Today's video is going to be a picture slideshow of my Cusco trip. So I studied abroad nearly 10 years ago. It's been 9 years this year, but next year will make 10 years. It was my first time going out of the country, and I went to Cusco, Peru. It was during my undergraduate years. We took a flight from Chicago O'Hare International Airport, and from O'Hare we went to Miami International Airport, and from Miami we flew to Lima, Peru, which is on the coast of Peru, and it was very hot there. And then from Lima, Peru, we boarded a smaller plane to Cusco, and we spent about 3 weeks in Cusco. The trips in the past for this particular global study abroad experience, because it was a frequent thing at my school, it was usually maybe 3 to 6 months, but the initial coordinator of the trip, she was no longer able to do it, so she had to find somebody in her place because she still wanted students to um, gain the experience of learning about different people and different cultures, and also Spanish immersion. Spanish immersion. So yeah, in order to go, I had to write some personal statements. I had to write an essay about why I wish to go, and I looked in my email to kind of find the brochure, but I was looking on my phone, so I wasn't able to find it. However, if I ever do find it at some point, I don't know, I will include it, just not right now. I found some insurance information that I had because we had to obtain insurance prior to going abroad. So I got some insurance, and then I found like email messages between me and one of my professors. But outside of that, looking on my phone, I couldn't find it. So this is the name of the insurance. It's Cultural Insurance Services International. And it was like, Dear Chandra Oliver, thank you for purchasing coverage for Cultural Insurance Services International. Attached is the participant ID card, and we were said to have that with us at all times. And it said the dates of coverage, the participant ID, the policy number, and some other stuff that I'm not going to read. But I received this email on Saturday, June 2nd of 2020. But the other stuff in my email, it wasn't coming up for whatever reason, but I know that I still have it. Anyway, this intro is a bit long, so I'm going to go ahead and go with the video. So this is outside of where we were residing. So each person on the trip, we were put together in groups of 2, and we had a host family. My host family was Mama Juana. She had 2 adult children who didn't live with her, and she also had a housekeeper who would come by to cook and clean. But Mama Juana was a teacher, and she owned Mama Juana's. It was Huayna Pachu. She had a cultural cafe in Peru, so downstairs inside of her house was the cafe, and then upstairs was the rooms, etc. But this is a picture from basically outside of that area. Okay, next. This is Peruvian currency, a $50 note. I took a picture of a different one, but I went to find certain pictures, so it's not every picture that I captured, while there is just a mini glimpse of the various pictures. And for the rest of this stuff, I may add music once I'm done recording, but I don't know. Scenery. This is the the area that has the circles, and I'm gonna find out what the name is, because this is why I was looking for the brochure, so I would have had all of this more planned out. But it's the crop circles is called Moray. It's an Inca ruin. So this area is where we was at. I have an actual picture of the circles, but what you're seeing right now is the area where the circles were basically. This is an indigenous girl and a woman, or two young women, but they're indigenous and they have llama and alpaca, and they're dressed in traditional indigenous clothing. And you ask, can you take a picture? Before you take a picture, and then you could give them a tip also for taking a picture. And these animals are very photogenic. This is just a picture of the scenery. You see how close the clouds are to the mountains. The altitude in Peru is very high. And in order to combat altitude sickness, folks got coca tea, which is the coca leaf, or coca candy would help, or you could do airborne from the States. I don't know if they had that over there. Maybe they have a different version of it, but I didn't get sick, so yeah. This is scenery in Cusco. The pictures are not in order, so the narration won't be in order. And if you look closely, you can see it has the Peru and something else. I gotta think about what it said. Okay, these are what I mentioned earlier, the Inca ruin, the Moray, which is the circles basically. So we went in June and it's been nearly 10 years, so it could be greener, or I don't know. But that's what it looks like. And then there were people all in a circle at the bottom. We was walking during an excursion, so these are people who, other students basically, who also went on a trip. And then the person who was in charge of the trip, and her husband, and the tour guide. And sometimes when I go places, I take pictures of like people walking in real time. I think they look cool. But it's just a brief synopsis of what was going on and why people have clothing. Not well clothing, obviously, but why people have on thicker outerwear. So the jackets and the hats is because at night it will get very cold, and in the early morning hours it will still be cold. So when we left out, we were dressed in what would be, I guess, considered fall or winter clothing. But as the day progressed, it got very hot, very humid. These are the salt mines in Peru, so there's salt. This is another indigenous woman, and she's weaving. I think this may have been a traditional blanket, and then those are people in the background who were a part of the study group. Another indigenous woman, and then her child, or maybe her sister, and then you got bags, toys. I have some Peruvian toys and souvenirs, and it's gloves and hats, etc. So this was a shop. And then this indigenous woman or girl, she's this is like different cuisine items. Because if I'm not mistaken, she was talking about the process for making the guinea pig, the quay. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. Um, but this was so long ago. But yeah, that was like purple corn, and we went to this place that makes, I think it's called corn beer. So it was purple corn beer and then some other colors that I have to think about. But yeah, anyway, that's a sign at this place. Touristy shop. Alpacas and llamas living its best life, eating scenery because I like nature. Machu Picchu. So this is a place that you should def go if you visit Peru. This is the town center in Cusco, and that's their they have their own flag, and that's their flag. So that was their flag first. And this is a picture of um, the guinea pig. Sunset. Me at the top of Machu Picchu. The full picture, it was somewhat cut off. That's why I did it like this, because it looks nicer instead of having it cut off. But yeah, the Spanish school that we went to. So not only did we go there to learn about other cultures, so indigenous cultures, um, a part of it was also Spanish immersion. So some people, or most of the students who attended, they have some knowledge of Spanish. Like I took 4 years of Spanish in high school. I'm not fluent, only understand some things. If you say something to me in Spanish, I'll respond to you in English. Just saying. So that is the school. I don't know if it's still around, but I don't see why it wouldn't be, because it's like an international Spanish school, if I'm not mistaken. And then I just talk about how it's kind of close to the host family place. So June is a very big month over there, and this is just some of the cuisine. So there's chicken, I believe there's cheese, that's this type of Peruvian bread, I think, and then cuy. So I think this is like a delicacy, to be honest. I don't think people eat it all the time, but in June it's very common to see it. I didn't eat any, but other people, we went to some fancy schmancy restaurant, um, and they tasted it there. Um, And then he'll just talk about the sun god and like June being like a big deal. And this is a picture when we was in the bar. This lady, she wasn't a part of our group. She was someone who was befriended in the bar. I don't drink, and I have a juice box because juice boxes are classy. Hello. And if you look closely, you may recognize one in the back. If you hear beeping in the background, my apologies. These people over here are unruly. And I just had to add this because this was in this shop that we went to. Maybe San Pedro Market, but it's like a shop. They got everything there, different type of fruits, veggies, and then parts of a cow, like the, what is it, the snout? It's the mouth basically. They also had cow head, but this, yeah, this is on Lake Titicaca. The man with the hat, he was the tour guide for this part of the trip, and then those are community members. So yeah, and then duckies in the water, and their sleeping spaces like their home, so it's floating islands, so it's in the middle of the water. And this is the final picture that I decided to upload. Just scenery. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I stated, I this was my first time studying abroad, and it was different than it had been in the past because the original coordinator, she wasn't able to go. The experiences in the past were usually longer, so I had to apply, um, write a personal statement of why I wanted to go, and I got some scholarships to go here, and then it was a part of the funding that I had to find a way to cover, because with with funding for school, like things had changed around this time. So yeah, but I ended up going because I was able to get all of the money with the assistance from others. But that is pretty much it. Um, we'll see how I like this recording. If anything, I may scrap it and then just do an introduction in the beginning and have music, but I thought it would make sense. I thought it would be better if I explained it. So thank you all. I'm back in the States, but I will be going back to the UK for school in September because things are open and school will now be in person, although I'm a research student and it's kind of different in terms of what I do versus what other students do. Like we do training, etc., but we don't have daily courses necessarily. And then in terms of the video, I did record while I was there. Some of the stuff I deleted it, but other stuff I'm gonna keep it because I created another channel. It's gonna be a vlog channel, so when it becomes live, I'll link it. And that one is gonna be personal vlogs, but this will be all school related content. So yeah, take care. Ciao.